Good morning. This is the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya with you. Let us start the news bulletin with the top headlines. Rajya Sabha to take up Triple Talaq Bill for consideration and passage. In the Lok Sabha, the Consumer Protection Bill 2019 and the Code on Wages 2019 Bill listed for consideration and passing. No improvement in Bihar floods. Prime Minister Modi assures all possible help to Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. Heavy rains lashed Odisha. IMD issues alert in Gujarat and Chhattisgarh. Uttar Pradesh government asks for CBI probe into road accident involving Unnao rape survivor. Sends a formal request to the centre. Rape survivor and lawyer critically injured. 2 relatives were killed. Indian Air Force to buy R-27 air-to-air missile for 1,500 crore rupees from Russia. Missiles to be used by Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter planes. And Virat Kohli made captain for India-West Indies series. 2 test matches, 3 T20s and 3 ODIs to be played during month-long tour from 3rd of August. First up, news on the budget session of Parliament, and important bills are listed in today's agenda in the Rajya Sabha. The government has listed the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill 2019 for consideration and passage. Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad will move the bill, which criminalizes instant divorce by Muslim men and seeks a jail term for the guilty. The bill seeks to protect the rights of married Muslim women and also provides allowance to victim women and their dependent children. The bill was passed in Lok Sabha on 26th of July. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will also move today the Companies Amendment Bill 2019 for consideration and passing to further amend the Companies Act 2013. The bill was passed in Lok Sabha last week. And Union Minister Piyush Goyal will introduce the National Institute of Design Amendment Bill 2019. The bill seeks to amend the National Institute of Design Act 2014. And also, half an hour discussion on Clean Ganga Drive is also on the agenda of the upper house. All right, let's go across to our colleague Kriti Mishra, who is joining us live from Parliament. A very good morning, Kriti. Kriti, speaking about Rajya Sabha first, there are important bills that have been listed in today's agenda in Rajya Sabha, but of course all eyes are going to be on the Anti-Triple Talaq bill because the way it was passed in Lok Sabha, there was some opposition as well, and it will be interesting to see if the government will be able to muster those numbers in Rajya Sabha.
Well, Aishwarya, the Supreme Court had struck down the practice of triple talaq and declared it unconstitutional, and had also asked the government to come up with a legislation. Even in its previous tenure, we saw that the government came up with anti-triple talaq legislation, which was triple talaq bill, which was passed in the Lok Sabha but was scuttled in the Rajya Sabha, and thereafter the bill lapsed with the dissolution of the 16th Lok Sabha. The government says that this bill is absolutely necessary. This proposed legislation is necessary for gender equality and justice. And more than 20 Islamic countries have also banned this practice of triple talaq. But remember, the opposition parties have expressed concern over the criminality clauses, saying that if the husband is imprisoned, who would take care of the children and, of course, of the wife? So that is the contentious issue as far as the opposition parties are concerned. But remember, this bill was passed in the Lok Sabha with 303 members voting in favor and 82 against it. As far as the Rajya Sabha is concerned, talking about the numbers in the 245-member house, the NDA has around 113 members. And since there are 4 vacant seats right now in the Rajya Sabha, so the majority mark comes to 121. Now, the BJP is banking upon the abstentions and walkouts and also on non-NDA and non-UPA parties to muster those extra numbers. The BJP has also issued whip to its members to be present in the House. Now, it remains to be seen what would be the strategy of the government on the floor of the House in the Rajya Sabha. Aishwarya?
All right, a crucial day for the government today in Parliament as anti-triple talaq comes up in Rajya Sabha. And we have to wait and watch how those numbers will really stack up for the passage of the bill. Stay with us, Kriti, we'll just come back to you. And the Rajya Sabha on Monday earlier approved amending the 3-year-old Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Well, it seeks to provide clarity about a preference to secured lenders over operational creditors and giving lenders explicit authority over distribution of the proceeds of auction of loan defaulting companies. Replying to the debate on Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill 2019, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that the changes being brought in the bill are in response to the events that have eroded legislative intent of the IBC. She referred to the SR Steel insolvency case where the lenders and operational creditors have been treated at par by the bankruptcy court for the distribution of auction proceeds.
Without the IBC, and this is something which I'd like to inform all members, without the IBC, creditors would have got only 1%, which is of the 9 crores of the claim. So IBC actually benefits everyone of the creditors, not just the big. Forgetting the small is not on the agenda. In fact, the small benefit, and even more, companies are not shutting, resulting in unemployment. Companies are being resumed, resulting in workers going back to work.
And several members from different political parties participated in the discussion on the bill.
So which are the sectors that have that generate maximum employment in this country? Real estate is one of those sectors. Then you have, of course, the retail sector, the manufacturing sector, textile sector, leather sector. So all of these sectors are in great difficulty today, and most of the resolutions that are taking place or insolvencies that are taking place are in fact in these sectors. Remember, the backbone of the Indian economy is the MSME sector.
And Rajya Sabha on Monday also passed the Banning of Unregulated Deposit Schemes Bill 2019 by voice vote. Now, this proposed law will save gullible investors from Ponzi schemes. The bill seeks to put in place a mechanism by which the depositors can be repaid without delay by attaching the defaulting establishment's assets.
The upper house on Monday unanimously passed the Banning of Unregulated Deposit Schemes Bill 2019.
The bill is passed.
Opposition parties withdrew amendments moved by them. The bill will replace the ordinance promulgated on the issue. Replying to a debate on the bill, Minister of State for Finance Anurag Singh Thakur said, the bill is an effort to protect the hard-earned money of the poor people.
So this bill aims to prevent such unregulated deposit schemes or arrangements in their inception. क्योंकि बहुत सारे members ने कहा ये कैसे अलग होगा? सर, फर्स्ट शेड्यूल के कॉलम 3 में 9 जितनी बॉडीज़ की बात कही गई रेगुलेटर्स के, वो जिन स्कीम्स को लीगल मानते हैं, वो लीगल एंटिटीज़ हैं, उसके दायरे के बाहर जो भी है वो अनरेगुलेटेड है. और ये अनरेगुलेटेड स्कीम्स, डिपॉजिट स्कीम्स, उसके ऊपर ही बिल है. जो उनके दायरे के बाहर है वो अनरेगुलेटेड है. और जिस दिन ये बिल फोर्स हो जाए, एक्ट बन जाएगा, उसके बाद उस दिन से ही वो सारी जितने इस तरह के धंधे होते हैं उस पर पूर्ण विराम लग जाए.
Members cutting across party lines put across their viewpoints on this significant legislation.
A proper structured regulated regime for making sure that this particular segment of deposit mobilization, which was outside the purview of a deposit mobilization which was generally made under the so-called regulated schemes. So there have been several regulators functioning in the financial services sector.
I draw the attention of Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman to pay attention and see how best NBFC can utilize it much more to raise the funds for the growth of the industry and economy. The government should announce some package to revive the industry, and they should be allowed to bring back bonds to raise money. So I support the bill.
No one writes about the Oscar chit fund scam 1.2 lakh people. So Pearl, then you come to Oscar, then you go to Bengal, Sancheta Ghotala of 1980s. Chit funds were born in this. Oscar also spread from not only Gujarat, it went to Orissa, it went to Maharashtra. So I'm glad with this bill, all this nonsense will be stopped.
I would like to draw the kind attention of the Honourable Minister to clarify the section 31 of the bill. It allows police officer to search without a warrant, has insufficient safeguards to prevent exploitation. The authorization given to the central government to create a database of all deposit activities could raise questions on privacy and surveillance.
Thank you.
But without knowing the implications, they are going to cheat the investors making their deposit. And one fine morning, the entire firm will vanish in the thin air. So in the firm itself is not available in that place. So now I am of the humble view that the bill is serving the larger public interest.
I request the Honorable Madam to appoint, instead of secretary, to appoint a specialist in financial matters. Could be economist or could be a banker who has got an understanding as to what the deposits are and what are the schemes, including Ponzi schemes, and matters who can, person who can deal with the and recognize the money trail, sir.
The proposed laws would have provisions to combat 3 different types of offences: running unregulated deposit schemes, fraudulent default in regulated deposit schemes, and wrongful inducement in relation to unregulated deposit schemes. The bill also provides for 1 to 10 years punishment and fines of 2 lakh rupees to 50 crore rupees to deter any such act. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Monday responded to the concerns raised by 15 opposition members of Rajya Sabha in their letter of 25th of July. The chairman asserted that there was no smothering of the voice of opposition in the House and that the upper house was not a party to herald legislation. He noted that every bill need not go to standing committees and he called for guidelines in the matter. He also assured the House that any effort to undermine the rights and privileges of the members of Rajya Sabha will not be allowed.
Chairman Naidu on Monday rejected allegations by 15 MPs that the voice vote of the opposition was being smothered in the House. He said empirical evidence proves the complaint does not stand. To prove his point, Chairman Naidu gave details of short-duration discussions taken up in the House in 36 years between 1978 and 2013.
In clear terms. Firstly, the honourable members in their letter have quoted some statistics about the number of bills referred or not referred to scrutiny, either by the department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee or Select Committee in the time of 14th, 15th, 16th and present Lok Sabha. If their complaint is that bills first introduced in this Lok Sabha sessions were not referred to Parliamentary Committee for scrutiny, that is not certainly in my domain as the chairman of the Rajya Sabha.
In the last 5 sessions, Chairman Naidu has presided. The government introduced 10 bills first in Rajya Sabha, and 8 of those 10 bills were referred to respective department-related standing committees. The chairman suggested codification of guidelines for scrutiny of bills by a committee for future reference and clarity.
During the last 5 sessions that I have presided, that is 244th to 248 sessions, 10 bills have been first introduced by the government in Rajya Sabha. I am happy to inform you that as chairman of this August House, I have referred 8 of these 10 bills to the respective department-related standing committees.
The chairman also observed that timing and duration of sessions of Parliament was the prerogative of the government, and the presiding officers of both houses of Parliament do not have any say in this regard. He reminded members that Parliament's core functions include legislation for socio-economic transformation of the country.
Second complaint relates to what they called the number of 30 long sittings of Lok Sabha till the last week during its first session since the general elections this year as against number of such sittings in the past. I am a little surprised again as to why the complaint referred to this issue to the chairman of Rajya Sabha. I would have expected them to take objections, if any, to the members of
to number of sessions of Rajya Sabha soon after the general elections this year. But how can I question their wisdom in doing so? I fail to understand how complaints can describe such longer sessions and passing a good number of bills during that period as dubious record, since Parliament's core functions include legislation for socio-economic transformation of the country. However,
Chairman Naidu reiterated that disruptions undermine the privileges of members besides eroding the stature of the upper house. He called for collective introspection and reflection by all sections of the house so that the House of Elders can function as envisaged by the founding fathers. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's talk about Lok Sabha. Well, 2 bills are listed in today's agenda in the lower house for consideration in passing. Consumer Affairs Minister Ramvilas Paswan will move the Consumer Protection Bill 2019 for consideration and passing. This bill seeks to provide for the protection of the interest of the consumers and for the said purpose to establish authorities for timely and effective administration and the settlement of consumers' disputes. Labour and Employment Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar will also move a bill, Code on Wages 2019, for consideration and passing. Now, this bill aims to simplify the wage and bonus payment rules, besides mandating a national minimum wage. All right, let's go back to Kriti Mishra, who's joining us from Parliament. Kriti, as far as Lok Sabha is concerned, the Consumer Protection Bill is going to be discussed. Of course, it was introduced in Lok Sabha, and the earlier draft had lapsed with the dissolution of the 16th Lok Sabha. And this is a very important bill because, you know, it is looking to bring about far-reaching changes in the entire consumer protection framework in our country. What more can you tell us?
Well, Ashwara, this bill has been the focus of the government for quite some time now. We saw that even in its earlier tenure, the government had brought in this bill. Now, this bill seeks to set up a mechanism for redressal of complaints of consumers and also provides for setting up Consumer Complaint Redressal Commission in the country. This bill also provides for hefty penalties in case of misleading advertisements, whether it is by celebrities, and also provides for stringent punishment in case of food adulteration. And this sets the entire e-commerce system in a very systematic manner. So this is a very important bill. There's another bill which is the Code on Wages Bill to consolidate all the laws in the country pertaining to wage and also to get up to bring forth a universal wage system in the country and make the wage system in the country a very transparent one. The government has been talking about comprehensive reforms in the labour laws in the country. So certainly this is a very important step, and 2 important bills are lined up in the Lok Sabha today for discussion and for passage. Aishwarya?
Indeed, 2 important bills for consideration and passing in Lok Sabha. And of course, as you were mentioning, government making a very important bid to universalize the provision of minimum wages to all workers through, of course, the Code of Wages 2019. Thank you so much, Kriti, for all those updates there from Parliament. And early on Monday, Lok Sabha passed the National Medical Commission Bill for replacing the corruption-plagued Medical Council of India with a new body. Now, this bill seeks to repeal the Indian Medical Council Act 1956, and the bill also has a provision for making national standards in medical education uniform. The bill proposes that final year MBBS exam be treated as an entrance test for PG and a screening test for students who graduate in medicine from foreign countries. Replying to the debate on the bill, Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said that the legislation will help end the Inspector Raj and increase the number of seats in medical colleges. He said that the basic intention of the government is to ensure and restore utmost standard of integrity in medical education in our country.
Grateful to all of them. As I said in the morning, sir, after 45 years, this is probably the happiest moment for me, because I know for sure that this is going to improve the status of medical education in the country in a big way. And I can assure each and every medical student of this country, to all of you, and to every doctor, and to every aspiring doctor, that the National Medical Commission Bill proposed and blessed And I think as a visionary move of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, will go down in history as one of the greatest reforms of this government in times to come. And with these few words, I once again thank all of you.
All right, let's get you some other news now. The Uttar Pradesh government on Monday recommended a CBI probe into a road accident in which Unnao rape survivor and her lawyer were critically injured and her 2 aunts were killed. A formal request has been sent to the centre in this regard. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath deputed State Minister Swati Singh to meet the survivors' family members and assured her of full cooperation from the government. Meanwhile, the National Commission for Women said that it will soon send a team to Uttar Pradesh. Remember, on Sunday, the rape survivor, her family and lawyer were travelling and they were hit by an overspeeding truck in Raebareli, killing 2 members and leaving her and the advocate critically injured. An update on monsoons in our country. Well, the Bihar flood situation remains grim as more than 88 lakh people have been affected by the deluge, even though the death toll remained at 127 for the 3rd consecutive day on Monday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and Deputy Chief Minister Sushil Modi and reviewed the situation arising due to floods in various parts of the state. In a tweet, PM Modi said that the centre has been working with the state government to help those affected and it will continue providing all possible assistance needed. Remember, Bihar has been reeling under floods since early this month following torrential rainfall in the Terai region of Nepal. Meanwhile, 4 more people died due to floods in Assam on Monday, taking the toll to 86 this season. The overall situation, however, improved, with the water level in all the 17 affected districts showing a receding trend. And the Indian Met Department has said that fairly widespread rainfall are likely over Odisha, South Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Telangana during the next 2 to 3 days. And isolated extremely heavy falls are also likely over Gujarat and Chhattisgarh during the next 24 hours. Let's get to some other news. India and Benin on Monday signed 4 MOUs on education, health and e-visa facilities. India also offered a $100 million line of credit to Benin for its development projects as President Ramnath Kovind held wide-ranging talks with his Beninese counterpart on issues of trade, defense and security cooperation. And after the bilateral talks, President Ramnath Kovind said that both the countries have reviewed their global partnership, and President Kovind also thanked the Benin President for his support for India's candidature for permanent membership of the United Nations Security Council. Both leaders also agreed to work together to combat climate change through the International Solar Alliance. President Kovind said that both sides also took stock of the ongoing projects being financed by Indian assistance and hoped that they will be completed soon, especially the project to supply safe drinking water to 103 villages in Benin.
Honorable Rashtrapati ji announced an additional $100 million as fresh lines of credit for various development projects. He reaffirmed India's commitment to Benin's development and referred to Benin as a trusted friend of India. He indicated that India would offer e-visa facilities to Beninese nationals to enhance people-to-people and business links. Both leaders expressed their happiness at the signing of the E-Vidya Bharati Arogya Bharati MOU on tele-education and telemedicine program for the African continent.
Later in the day, President Kovind addressed the National Assembly of Benin. The president said that India is keen to share its digital revolution with Africa to enhance the well-being of its people. He added that following the success of Pan-African e-Network initiative, India now looks forward to the implementation of the E-Vidya Bharati and E-Arogya Bharati initiative with Benin. The president said that the ties between India and Benin are bound by a shared political trajectory.
in our quest for a permanent seat at the UN Security Council, we also fully support due African representation in an expanded UN Security Council. Ladies and gentlemen, from global governance to global growth, India is emerging as a key driver. Our GDP of 2.6 trillion US dollars is set to double in next 7 years. As India's economy grows, so will our external engagement.
The Indian Air Force has signed a deal with Russia for buying R-27 air-to-air missiles worth over 1,500 crore rupees. Now, these missiles will be fitted on the Su-30 MKI fighter planes. The missiles will further strengthen the air-to-air combat capability of the Indian Air Force. The R-27 missile is designed to destroy air targets in adverse weather conditions at any time of the day. The missile has a length of 4 meters, a body diameter of 0.23 meters and a wingspan of 0.77 meters. The weight of the missile is 253 kilograms. The R-27 can be launched from an altitude of 25 kilometers up to a range of 60 kilometers. The guidance system of the missile includes a semi-active radar seeker with command updates. And sports news now. Cricket captain Virat Kohli has said that he and other young players look forward to the West Indies tour. Remember, India will play 2 test matches, 3 T20s and 3 ODIs during their month-long tour on the Caribbean islands starting 3rd of August. This is the first overseas tour of the Indian cricket team after the World Cup. And Kohli said that efforts are being taken to ensure that Team India reaches the top ranking.
The pure joy of playing cricket and executing your skills as cricketers. Test cricket is the most important format, and for me, nothing comes above Test cricket. So the fact that the Test Championship will keep excitement going there, and T20 format, there's so much to look forward to as well. With 3 formats, you'll always have something to look forward to, as I just mentioned, so things move on pretty rapidly.
And that is the wrap on this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day ahead.
What do you think has been the biggest